The parcel landscape today looks absolutely nothing like it did even 10 years ago. Now, there's a couple of different factors that have led to the vast changes. One certainly being Amazon itself. Two, the rise of multi-carrier shipping platforms that enable the rise of regionals. And three, the rise of regional carriers themselves. I could be more excited about this episode of Better Yet. We have two gentlemen on the forefront of the rise of regional carriers. Welcome to the show. We have Steve Bergan, president at GLS, or General Logistics Systems, and we have Andy Whiting, co-founder and CEO over at Better Trucks. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we've got a lot of ground to cover today. Before we do, I'd like both of them to introduce themselves, please. Steve, we're going to start with you.
Steve Bergan, president of GLS US. 22-year veteran in the regional carrier space, everything from parcels to cartage, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. And I'm Andy, from CEO and co-founder of Better Trucks. We're Chicago-based last mile carrier. Don't have quite the experience that Steve has, but I'm trying to catch up every day. So excited to be here today to talk about Parcel and everything that's changed in the new age post-COVID era. So thanks for having us.
Awesome. So we're going to start here. It's not hyperbole when I say that you all work with some of the largest shippers, not only in the United States, but in the world. You work with some of the most advanced heads of transportation and logistics. So I want to start with this. When you look at your organizations and even the evolution of your companies and the parcel landscape over the last decade, what are some of the biggest impacts you think each of your organizations have had on parcel as a whole? And Steve, I want to start with you for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our organizations have really come to an industry that was largely commoditized in a lot of ways, very, very boring, very bland. And we were able to bring something different to market, and it really came through a combination of things. But the savvier shippers out there realized there were better ways, more efficient ways to get their shipping done, and they also wanted to leverage technology, which is probably the backbone of everything that we're doing, and being able to use that technology in a way to be more predictive, to track packages better. Those were all things that the commoditized duopoly really didn't do and still don't do very well today, and you don't really see a lot of interest from them in doing it. So that's really what gave rise to the regional carriers and this multi-carrier strategy that a lot of folks have today.
Yeah, so just being on the forefront of all of that is great. As kind of inventory placement changes for customers, large shippers, the savvy shippers that Steve talked about, that have the ability to leverage companies like us that have a really strong presence in a region. And then as those types of companies like GLS and Better Trucks look to partner together to unlock even more shippers, it's great. I mean, a lot of these guys, the big players, have been doing this forever. They've optimized their networks to leverage kind of the regional players. But you're seeing that more and more as customers leverage new fulfillment networks like ShipBob, new software like Shipium, things like that these customers are doing to kind of optimize their network. They need to partner with carriers that are just as forward-looking and just as technology first in order to service their customers. And like Steve said, a lot of the big duopoly has just been sitting kind of fat and happy, not innovating and kind of ignoring these changes in the industry, and we're happy to take advantage of that.
Awesome. I know we were talking a lot about technology, so let's spend a few minutes there. Steve, would you go as far to say that you feel like GLS is a technology company that does parcel delivery? Is that too much of a stretch?
No, in fact, that's exactly the theme that we have in our internal meetings, is that we're really a tech company. It's all about digitization, how we're leapfrogging the other folks in what we do, what we can bring to market. So that's the core of our focus when we sit down and look at our strategy is where are we going from a technology perspective.
Yeah, I remember about 10 years ago, Domino's was one of the first companies, outside of tech to say we're a tech company first and a pizza delivery company second. But I think you continue to see that play out, that when you take that mindset shift into the leadership meetings, into the ELT, that it's a completely different way to approach that industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It came from really two angles. From my career coming up as a regional player, we always wanted something that was different and that could bring extra value to the customer than just moving a box. So, could we tell them where the box is? Could we tell them who the driver is? Could we give them an ETA that's more accurate? All those things. Can we attach an RFID tag? So these are all things that we look at and are constantly pushing things forward. We were one of the first companies back in the day, like 12 years ago, to offer the visual POD, picture POD at site. This was before, we did it before Amazon did it. So really for us, it's being able to market and get in front of more customers to show them these capabilities that we have. And I think both us and Better Trucks are doing that more and more effectively now. And as you're seeing that kind of curve happen where more folks are interested in those and see value in those technology prospects, that we're able to then, as Andy put it, unlock those customers and bring that value and really start to show folks what we can do.
Now, it's one thing to kind of say we're a technology company, but you both know darn well, as you look at the P&Ls of the organization, like it's not always easy. You have to make those investments to back it up. Andy, we've talked about this, and I've heard you say we have a larger technology team than many organizations, double and triple our size. And so you are making those commitments and those investments to continue to invest in your technology. Talk to us about the mindset that you have to continue to make the necessary investments to enable you to be a technology first organization.
Yeah, I mean, it comes from, where you're really putting your capital inside your organization. So what are you investing in? And that's one of our largest line items, is the technology budget. As Stephen said about, being a tech company first that happens to do delivery, we make sure that we're focused on that. And by building all of our software in-house, gives us much more control over quality, and also allows us to do things much more nimbly, and to make partnerships and build relationships faster with customers and also with other carriers like Stephen and GLS. If we both depended on kind of third-party outside systems, it would have been a disaster to try to relay through something else. But our technology teams kind of worked really hand in hand to build a seamless integration to our customers to both code share on each network, which has been very valuable. But again, without the kind of underlying technology investments in our business, they would not have been able to do that. A lot of other carriers leverage third parties, kind of outsource all of their IT. And with that kind of strategy, it's not the way to win these days. The other thing I'll add is, you've got large organizations like FedEx and UPS. The duopoly of FedEx has famously, kind of invented the tracking number, many years ago. But as Stephen mentioned about visual PODs, FedEx just introduced that this year, when companies like GLS have been doing it for a dozen years, and Amazon has made it table stakes for everyone. And you would think that a company that is as tech forward as FedEx could do that, but that is the innovator's dilemma. That is the challenge with these giant organizations, that it's turning an aircraft carrier, and pivoting when a company of our size can, when there's a thing that's best for the customer when it comes to technology, we implement fast and iterate fast, and similar to GLS.
Awesome. Along these lines, in the last episode of Better Yet, we were talking about dynamic pricing or algorithmic pricing. It's been kind of a component of other industries for quite some time now. Your airline tickets are going to fluctuate day to day. I think, the ride sharing apps, Uber in particular, introduced a whole new segment of the population to this idea of surge pricing. What role do both of you kind of think that dynamic or algorithmic pricing plays when we know so many carriers are still saying, I just need the static rate card. I just need to do an apples to apples between you and, one of the big carriers?
Yeah, I mean, dynamic pricing is really an inevitability, and again, driven by the technology that your systems have in the background, or us as carriers, our systems have in the background, and that's definitely something we're working toward. Today, we already have analysis that goes in and takes a look at where customers need capacity, where their utilization is, and for folks that can take advantage of underutilized capacity within our network, we're already able to give more pinpoint custom pricing in those areas that offers better discounts to the shipper. So we're already in that track, and we'll just continue to iterate off of that to do better and better, offer up more and more options to shippers on how they can take advantage of our network in a way that's mutually beneficial. So they get the best price, we have capacity that's available, and we can sell that capacity at a rate that's a win-win. But it's still going to take some time to build it out, and then shippers at the end of the day have to be ready and adapt their operations. So it really comes down to, is it, what's the total landed cost for them on when they ship? Do they give the volume earlier in the day so they can use a sortation that maybe isn't at a crunch time? So there's a ton of factors that go into it, but that's exactly the conversation we're having with folks, and then able to adjust the pricing there. So yeah, we're excited to see that coming down the pipe.
Yeah, and I'll take that like one step further. We've built a dynamic pricing engine for our customers. Not a lot of customers are even able to take advantage of it, right? So like what Stephen mentioned is, there's the industry, you're trying to drag some of these players along. The new innovative shippers are able to do so, but we have the ability to, I think a great kind of use case or example between GLS and Better Trucks where we're seeing it is, we have a relationship where multi-origin kind of shipments. So we have customers that are using multiple origin entry, and we're able to provide different pricing kind of based on different origins, which is not just a typical rate and zone and, weight and zone type pricing. And that gives the customer a lot of value, typically a lower price for the customer, and theoretically provides more reliable service with, not overbursting with capacity for our in our networks. So we've rolled out dynamic pricing with a number of customers. The more sophisticated ones, they can hit us every time from a rate shop perspective. They get back a different price. And it is truly a dynamic situation based on our capacity in real time. But I think the industry is kind of thinking about that. Some shippers are able to take advantage of that, but a lot of the as long as you can have a discussion, sit down with them, understand their needs. I mean, that's a great step to get them into a truly dynamic world.
Fabulous. Andy, you had alluded to it earlier, shifting tracks just a little bit. Just both announced a partnership between GLS and Better Trucks. Would maybe Andy kick us off and tell us a little bit about the partnership and how it's going to benefit shippers?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I just want to say we're honored to partner with GLS, obviously a very reputable organization, huge coverage area on the West Coast, a long legacy of quality, a big, kind of international organization as well. So we're super honored to be a part of that. And we think for our customers, it unlocks a lot of territory that we will not get to, anytime soon. It's a ways away. And it unlocks a lot of territory for us to provide more service coverage for our customers with a partner that's very reliable, and then vice versa. Our customers that are on the West Coast can get a lower rate by going through GLS because they can leverage the scale that GLS has, bringing things eastbound into our network. And the same visibility, whether they're shipping on GLS with a GLS label or a Better Trucks label, and it gives them just incredible. We just have a different scale now than we would have kind of alone, and it's definitely a 1 + 1 is greater than 2. So I'm excited, but from a customer's perspective, it unlocks a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Mirroring everything Andy said. For us, customers are constantly asking, hey, what what other opportunities do you have? Where are you going next? And in working with Better Trucks, in working with Better Trucks, they were on the same page as us. Very technology forward, very customer centric, and really strategically for us, it's about being able to go in and take a bigger piece of the pie. Those who've worked with the duopoly know that the pricing structure is always a volume based discount, and there's certain tiers and thresholds. And at the end of the day, to be really competitive, you got to bite off a little bigger piece of the pie. So by partnering together, we've been able to do that. We can do a team approach. We've been able to bring different folks to market for each other, and access other regions. One use case recently was we had a customer that really needed help in Ohio. Just what they were doing there wasn't working, and they were a big customer of ours. So we were able to go to the Better Trucks team and say, hey, here's the deal. Here's how it works. They're already integrated. We're already integrated. Let's just make this the flip of the switch. And that's what we did. We were able to onboard it in a matter of weeks, like a week and a half. So in that use case, it was incredible, and they're getting incredible service today. It's gone very, very well. So those are more things that we look to unlock. And yeah, we're proud to be partners with Better Trucks and look forward to continuing to grow this partnership, east and west.
Fabulous. I know we talk a lot about as an industry, when you move to a regional right away, you should be able to see 20-40% kind of savings. And a big part of that is your footprint, both of your footprints, and kind of keeping a lower overhead. Does this kind of partnership help you, enable and facilitate that and maintain that lower overhead while expanding kind of the reach of both your organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. It does a couple things. From an overhead perspective, it definitely helps. What the term I like to use is local heroes. It's having people locally that are really invested in what's going on, not just kind of a corporate center that's in, I don't know, Tennessee, and where they just don't touch the rest of the country and they don't really know what's going on. With Andy, with myself, and with all the others, we're all the local guys. We understand what's going on, and so we can be more nimble. The second part that keeps us more efficient is our sole focus on really ground parcel services. So we're not out there trying to be all things to all people all the time. We're very focused. We've got a ground service that can offer a larger time in transit window at a better price. And those are the things that for us can keep us hyper efficient and meet our customer needs.
Yeah, I love that
Awesome.
concept of local heroes. I mean, us, just looking at the West Coast, it's a whole different animal, right? I've been in Chicago for 25 years, know the area very well, know the Midwest, know all the nuances of transportation, all the weird backhauls, all the weird nuances everywhere. And that, we're not going to get that just by, kind of hiring a local team in California. It's much better to partner with somebody that's been operating there for many years and has that local knowledge. So I love that idea of local heroes, and it does unlock better service for our customers on both ends. And then, connecting them together is a big component of that we're happy to do that for many of them.
Awesome. Fabulous.
I'll touch on one other
Please.
thing,
Yeah, absolutely.
what Stephen said about kind of that example of the Ohio situation. A customer, like most of the customers that we work with on both sides, are national shippers, right? So they may have a single location, they have a one distribution center and they're shipping nationally, or they have multiple distribution centers. And as kind of our companies independently are usually only able to work with the distribution centers local to their region. And what this has proven here is with the relationship that Stephen was talking about, the customer that has multiple distribution centers already has a relationship with GLS, is able to leverage, using the same technical integration, the same process, the same reporting, the same claims process, the same everything. They're able to leverage multiple distribution centers and achieve more of a national-like service. Either if they're competing with it allows us to compete with UPS or FedEx, also allows us to compete with some of the larger regionals like LaserShip On Track, and puts us really in a good spot. So that's again why we're super happy. And it goes both ways. Our customers that are traditionally Chicago-based retailers or Chicago or Midwest-based retailers, a lot of them have West Coast presence that we really haven't been able to help with, but now we can, and we can have a solution. So we're really proud of that.
Awesome. Fabulous. As we tape this, we're kind of starting to get to the finish line of final preparations for peak for a lot of shippers. Can you share a little bit about what the narrative is inside of both of your organizations as you start to make some final arrangements with shippers, get things locked in ahead of the fall season and ahead of peak shipping? Steve?
I mean, it's always the run up, but we're getting the forecast, getting everything prepared. We've had some good test days through the holidays this summer and in the spring to get us warmed up. So we're feeling ready. One of the unique things is we don't have any black and white blackout dates or anything like that. We're here to help all the time, peak, no peak, whatever. But the sooner you get in, the better. So if you're a shipper and you're thinking about it, don't wait. Start the process now, start getting pricing. We can start working things out. But yeah, I think we're prepared. We've made some pretty amazing investments in our overall capacity in our network, both from a line and a building sortation standpoint. So we're ready this year. We're ready and welcome it and excited to show customers what we can do.
That's awesome. I think the other thing I'll add is, we all kind of had a little bit of a false start with the preparation for the UPS strike here that, so that we've been doing a lot of contingency planning thus far this year. So, thank goodness that didn't actually have to come to bear. But, this business is really, peak and then preparation for peak. There's only kind of 2 seasons. And so I think that's what we do every year is kind of look and see what worked last year. From a software perspective, operationally perspective, and then start to implement improvements. And we've been doing the same as Stephen to prepare and like you said, no real hard cutoff, but the sooner the better. And getting ramped up and getting that steady state volume before the peak is very imperative. But we're excited for it, and we'll be ready.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much. This has been awesome. We've covered a lot of ground. This is called Better Yet because we believe the best is yet to come in Parcel. So I'm going to get you both out of here on this. We'll start with you, Steve. When you think about either the balance of this year or into next year, what excites you most about the parcel industry?
The most exciting part is more and more folks are understanding the value that regional carriers bring to market in the parcel industry. We're talking with shippers that never really dreamed of being in this space, and it's just a ton of fun from this angle, getting to learn about new industries, new businesses, what their needs are, what they did historically, and how they're trying to go into digitization and leverage technology, and their eyes are opening really big. Those are the most exciting, and those are definitely going to be happening for the next 6 months and the next year and the years to come.
Yeah, the growth rate kind of has not slowed down since COVID, right? Everyone kind of predicted it would slow down. It is still growing. The industry is growing. People are seeking alternatives. They will continue to do so. People generally need the multi-carrier movement to win in this economy, whether it's redundancy, speed, flexibility. There's many things that these different types of carriers can provide, coverage area, technology, again, all those different kind of components are important. And the more and more the retailers, the shippers are recognizing that the names that we're getting to speak with are, household brand names that you would have never dreamed that would be, having to build this redundancy. And now it's just great. So we're excited about that. The industry continues to grow. The technology investment into the industry continues to grow, and we're just super excited.
Awesome. Well, so very much appreciate both your times. I know you're balancing a lot, but this was a fantastic episode, and congratulations to you both on the partnership. I know it will be a benefit to not only both your organizations, your shippers, but the industry as a whole. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Thanks, Dan.